Hi, thank you for joining me. Today's Pick a Card ET reading is going to be how to connect with your ET guides. Hello. This is going to be ET Pick a Card number 8, and we're going to talk about connecting with your guides, or when you're going to connect with your guides, or how you're going to connect with your guides. The theme of it is connecting with your guides. And we have 3 piles here. The SMOKY QUARTZ. Is there a better side to that? Yeah, that looks better. The rose quartz pyramid and the celestite crystal geode. So take a few minutes and look at your piles. And while you're looking, I'm just going to say, if you're interested in getting a reading with me, please go to my website, thecoolcrone.com. Click on the services tab to see all of my services and pricing, and then click on the button that says book now. You can do everything right on the site, and I will be notified. I'll get in touch with you if I have questions, and we'll get you a reading. All right. So I'm also going to put up on the screen, as best I can, images to represent a SMOKY quartz, a rose quartz, and if I can find a pyramid, I will, and the celestite geode. But I want to make sure that you guys have the ability to study the piles and pick one. I'll be quiet for a while. All right, so let's dive into the reading. So the first card represents you, and this is the Tower. The Tower means that at some point very soon, you, or maybe you've already experienced it, you will have something jarring, something really changed in your life. At some point in your life, you are having things really change, and you're going to have to change your attitude, and you're going to have to adjust to this in some way. This is a profound change that's going to affect you psychologically, emotionally, maybe even your physical setting. Changing your perspective is often the best way to deal with these things, and allows you to get up and get moving and take charge of the situation once more. Of course, for everyone, once a tower moment happens, they feel out of control. They feel like, the universe has just sort of tossed them aside, and now they have to deal with it because it upends your life. The best way, again, is to adjust your attitude about what has happened, see it as a lesson, see it as a learning opportunity, and then proceed from there. The next card that we have is the Moon. And this is your past. And the Moon in this deck represents the past. It says that something that may have happened to you in the past was unfamiliar, foreign, scary, just really disturbed you a great deal. But the unknown is not always as frightening as it seems. You need to look at things that disturb you, things that make you feel uncomfortable, and decide whether that is reality or illusion. You need to look at things and figure out if you're assuming something about the situation or whether that is true. And I think when it comes to ETs, that's something that we can all take to heart. There's a lot of misinformation out there about ETs and galactic beings. If you're interested in connecting with your ETs as guides and using them as a resource for comfort, a resource for spiritual learning, a resource for raising your vibration, then you need to dispel any myths that you may believe about the ETs and galactic beings in general. So the moon card is coming up in the past to point out to you that in the past you have looked at things with an perhaps uneducated eye, and that you do need to do more research to see if perhaps what you're looking at is skewed in a negative direction. If you can flip that and skew it in a positive direction, A, you're going to learn a lot more from the situation because the fear will be reduced. And B, it's going to be more positive for you in general because you see the whole thing as positive, therefore you're going to accept it more. The next card is the challenge of your situation. And this is the King of Swords. The King of Swords tells us that we can't do it all alone. Even the most knowledgeable and experienced leader needs trusted advisors. Everybody that is around him or them or it needs to be able to rely on their colleagues in order to do things. And it's no different than relying on your ET family for advice and help and comfort when you need it. Think of your ET family as another group of angels, that they are beings that are very protective of you and only have your highest good in mind. They are not here to control you, to abduct you, to hurt you in any way, to use you in any way. Anything that you do with the ETs where you're actually interacting with them is probably a part of your soul contract and something that you agreed to, whether you remember or not, before you were incarnated into the body you're in now. So nothing is going on that is without your permission. And when you're in the presence of your ETs, if you don't have conscious memory of it, understand that they would never do anything against your will. So now, actions that you can take is the Two of Coins. Now, the Two of Coins in the Rider-Waite deck, of course, is the juggler juggling the 2 coins. But in this deck, it's, of course, a little bit different. And in this deck, the word is unification. Unification will be positive and will bring inner growth. So if you can bring together the information that you're learning from your ETs, it will allow you to grow a great deal. And it will be easy spiritual growth because basically they're feeding it to you. Now, they may have tasks for you to do that will help you learn lessons. Just do them as to the best of your ability. There's no grading on this. It's just to help you. So the more that you can open up to the idea that there's very, very positive lessons for you to learn here, the quicker you will be able to connect with your ET family, with your galactic family. Then we have the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords in this deck says that if you're willing to accept the lessons, the instruction, the information, the love, the friendship, the energy that is being offered, then you will be able to grow and learn and to benefit from all of that. It's also going to help you correct your situation, whatever that situation is. So as of now, you may feel that you're in a position of lack. You may feel like you're not as connected as you want to be with your galactic family. But search your heart and see if there aren't some negative feelings about the whole galactic experience that is holding you back. If you can at least intellectually begin to accept that it's a positive situation. They are positive beings and they mean you no harm. In fact, they mean you the greatest good. Then you can begin to benefit from that relationship. But the fear that is there and any kind of negative connotation, that needs to be erased first. And that may be your challenge. That is your biggest challenge. And so if you can do that, then you'll be much better off. All right, let's go on to the oracle cards. The first one is from the Mystic Martian deck, and it says the golden ratio, beauty, nature, and patterns. And let's read about that. The golden ratio, Fibonacci sequence, or golden spiral, is the self-stimulating or fractal spiral sequence that is mathematically and geometrically found everywhere in nature. It is an irrational number and is represented as phi. Numerically, it is the sum of two numbers that precede it. So the sequence is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, etc. It is known as nature's secret code or nature's universal rule, as the divine connected proportions of the golden ratio concludes the small is to the large as the large is to the whole. The governing pattern for the golden ratio is found everywhere in nature, including harmonics, art, shells, flowers, leaves, architecture, weather patterns, tree, plant, animal, human biology, and spiral galaxies. The golden ratio has also been discovered on a nano and subatomic scale in solid matter. It is said that some extraterrestrials use the golden ratio spiral sequence symbiotically with higher consciousness for propulsion energy of their crafts and to navigate interdimensional time travel. And some key words for this card are beauty, art, music, nature, maths, numbers, patterns, the weather, going with the flow, design, architecture, life unfolding naturally, not forcing anything, being present here now, and blessings. So there's that. So if that helps you any with all the aforementioned doing some shadow work there, then good. And the last oracle card is from the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and it is the breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. And there is the picture. And let me read from the guidebook. When we rely only on our own will, we're micromanaging the universe and resisting the natural flow of life. We're not trusting the mysterious breath of life. We're rejecting the great cosmic intelligence and relying instead on our personal strength. When we do this, we find ourselves attempting to bend things to our will. We spend our time forcing, pushing, and living from a space of trying to. Everyone around us can feel it, and the universe can too. You're being called to stop micromanaging the universe and trust the breath of life, to surrender to the greater will that God has for you, to move from my will to thy will. When you surrender to the greater will of life, you begin dancing with the rest of life. When you bow to the great mystery and say, please use me, please show me the way, little by little you find yourself living your most fulfilling, authentic life. When you surrender your personal will, when you relinquish control and release the way you think things should be and surrender to the greater will, you find yourself being led. You begin breathing the breath of life. And here is a mantra for you. I'm willing to stop relying on my own strength and personal agenda and instead surrender to the breath of life. Dear God, help me move from my will to thy will. Please lead me. Please show me the way. So I don't know, that sounds a little Christian-y for me, but if it works for you, then great. Go ahead and use that. It is saying really that you need to look to the universe, look to your galactic family for assistance in understanding the universe and your part, your role in it. So that's the reading for those of you who picked the smoky quartz. Now I'm going to move on to the rose quartz pyramid. Okay, so here we go with the rose quartz pyramid. This is the stone that you picked. And the first card is the High Priestess. And this is talking about new knowledge rather than hidden knowledge. This is saying that you gain new knowledge from connections with new people. So it is suggesting that you go forward rather than backwards, that you go outward rather than inwards as far as connecting and learning about new ideas. And new ideas are going to lead you to connecting with your galactic family quicker. Then we have the Nine of Swords. And notice the picture on this card. A couple on the beach, the spaceship in the sky, shooting beams of light down to, I guess, the ocean, and they're a little alarmed. It has disturbed them. It has disturbed their idyllic day. The meaning of this card is that if you just shut your eyes to things that are uncomfortable or scary, you'll never learn about them. And remember that we started with the High Priestess, which said, new people, new connections will help you learn new things. In order to open your mind to things, you have to face them. You have to see them clearly. Now, this is in the position for the past. So maybe you have done this in the past so that you know you can do this again in the future. So what the universe wants you to do and what your galactic family is asking you to do is not to shut your eyes and be afraid of what's coming, but to open your eyes and be eager for new connections. The third card, your challenge in this, is the Knight of Cups. And this has two horses in the water racing with the swimmer in the ocean. You can see the swimmer's body in there. His arm is coming up out of the water. Okay, and the Knight of Cups is about first impressions, which can be wrong, and using your heart. Listen to your heart, which will correct and prompt you to correct any mistaken perceptions that you may have about a first impression. So, yes, things that are unusual, when they come to us, we have a tendency to reject them. But this is how we learn. Making new connections, meeting new people, getting new knowledge. That's how you learn, is with new experiences. And the thirst for communications is there. The King of Cups is saying the desire for mutual understanding is always justified. So being able to reach out, to understand, to accept what people are bringing to you or what beings are bringing to you is really, really paramount with this. So I guess what your galactic family is saying is that the connection is there. You just have, we're reaching out. You just have to grab and do the handshake. Grab our hand and do the handshake. And the last card here, the final outcome, is the Strength card. And it's saying courage and will can harmonize spirituality and depravity, necessity and fear. Courage and will. So if you want to resolve this situation and have that handshake with your galactic family, you will. You definitely will. You just need to be calm and serene. Try not to judge. Try to let judgment go. Try to look your new experiences in the eye. Don't run from them. And rely on this thirst for new ideas, thirst for new communication, for meeting new people. That's where you're going to find fulfillment in this quest. Now let's look at this oracle card, Sirian's A. And this is from the Mystic Martian Oracle. Everything will be in the description box below. The Sirian A beings come from the brilliant and brightest star in our skies, Sirius, the dog star, which is in the Canis Major binary system, possibly trinary, 9 light years from Earth. The planet's name originated from ancient Greek Sierrios for scorcher and is mentioned in Surah chapter 53 of the Quran, titled The Mighty Star and Lord of Sirius. Ancient Egyptian goddess Sopdet and later Isis was the queen of Sirius. Greek goddess Sothis was also of Sirius. The sixth-dimensional Sirian beings are benevolent, loyal, spiritual warriors who bear service to others. They are disciplined, reserved, and have self-mastery of healthy detachment, connection to all, and integrity. They have strong ties with Mother Earth's oceanic realm. They're calm, non-political, watery, and non-confrontational, yet can defend themselves easily if need be. They value honesty and transparency and prefer symbols to words. They are lovers of music, sacred geometry, and singing. The Sirian A beings, like the avian blue beings, live within the raw, law of one principles and practices. Sirian A beings visited Earth during an ancient seeding project and later worked with Egyptian, Sumerian, Inca, Mayan, and other ancient civilizations. Ancient Mayan legends say the Sirian A beings were the keepers of the 13 crystal skulls. The Sirian A beings were also involved in ancient cosmic wars with the Orion Alpha Draconic Empire. Cetacean, dolphin, whale, mermaid heritage originates from Sirius A. The Sirian A beings are a complex hybrid collection of species, though usually stand 6 to 7 feet tall. They have a vast array of skin colors, from brown to very dark complexions to gray-bluish tones. Many have large protruding brains on the upper back of their skull. The amphibian genotype of Sirian A beings have webbed toes and fingers and a diversity of aquatic features. And they have some keywords here for this card: artistic, music, integrity, honesty, truth, gracious, serious, transparency, ocean creatures, merchants, traders, crystals, singing, accomplishment, success, commitment, loyalty. So I think opening yourself up to all of this will show you the Sirian beings. So clearly you're connected with Sirians. And then the other oracle card is Double Mission. This is from the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Double mission. Lightworker Starseed. Serve the world by being you. Lightworker starseeds are mission and purpose oriented. Many have the feeling that time's running out and there's something they came here to do, could create or contribute. They're here to grow as souls individually, that's their individual mission, and also to contribute to the planet in some action-oriented way, collective mission. Their collective mission is often answered through a career calling or by devoting their life to something bigger. Until they remember their collective mission, it can feel as if something's missing or that they're forgetting something important. It's common for lightworker starseeds to feel that they're different, and they may carry soul memories of being visible or sharing their voice. As such, they may protect themselves by dimming their light in order to fit in, or by spending time in some sort of closet, such as a spiritual closet. If you pull this card, you're being called to remember your collective mission and step into it even more fully. You're being reminded that your role as a light worker is to light up the world with your presence. This doesn't have to be a great big thing or a decision you need to make. You also don't need to have a great big plan. If you resonate with being a light worker, all you need to do is work out what lights you up, your passions and joys, and keep doing that. When you trust and follow the simple path of things that light you up, and then lose yourself in the doing, you'll light up the world without even trying. And your question is, how can you serve the world by being you? The answer is by being you. It's kind of a weird question. All right, so that is the reading for the people who picked the Rose Quartz Pyramid. I'm going to pick up these cards and lay out the cards for the last pile, the Celestite Geode Crystal. All right, this is the reading for the people who chose the Celestite Geode, and I am going to start the reading now. So we have the Knight of Swords is the first card, and the Knight of Swords is telling us that when we win, we should divide the winnings. Then when you do lose, it is easier to accept the rejection. So this is you. This is a lesson that you have learned in your life, and you are manifesting your energy, bouncing it up to the universe for other people to use and to see. You are a person that understands the use of force and also generosity. So this is a lesson that you have had to learn in your life. In the past, you have suffered as the Hanged Man. And this has also taught you lessons. So in this deck, the Hanged Man, it says that when you search for new ideals, you will be faced with new challenges. But to listen to your inner voice and do not despair, that you'll get there. So you've been in this situation before. I also think that it could be that getting this card from the past may mean that you have already had contact with your galactic family or contact with some ETs, and that this experience is one that you're possibly acquainted with and are not afraid of, but perhaps you don't have a memory of it. Perhaps the only memory that you have are of this life's experiences on Earth. The fourth card is the Emperor. And in this deck, the Emperor card means that you need to take responsibility. This is the action that you need to take. You need to take responsibility for your gifts, your abilities, and to use them to foster a deeper connection with your galactic family. So if you've been studying about ETs and galactic persons, if you've been reading about them or meditating about them, continue to do that, but also impose the intention that you want to have a deeper connection and you want to remember the connection. So a lot of people do have experiences. Some people might call them abductions, but I think they're just encounters. And if you can take responsibility for the abilities that you have that have set you on a spiritual journey, perhaps you're a healer of some kind, and offer that to your galactic family. But also set an intention for your encounters with them to remember the encounter. It could be that this is just the time that you needed to wait until now before you could remember. Now, the 10 of Cups is the next card. And in this deck, the 10 of Cups says that all the best things come to you after great suffering, that all the things that truly matter to you, that are of great value to you, will come as the result of great suffering. I don't know if I really agree with that, but that is what's in this card deck, and that's what the meaning of this card is. So if it's really important for you to connect with your galactic family, there may be some things that you have to go through before you can get there. And perhaps you've already gone through them, but you don't remember. So perhaps one of the challenges is to go back maybe through hypnosis or something and try to remember any encounters that you've already had and try to grasp the details of those encounters and what it was that you were supposed to take back from those encounters. And the last card is the 9 of Swords. Very interesting. So in this is the 9 of Swords, and this is showing people being drawn up into a ship, and they have these cords attached to their heads that look very etheric. They don't look physical at all. But what this is saying is that if you have negative feelings about these encounters, then you need to cure yourself of that. You need to disavow yourself of that implication when it comes to connections and encounters with your galactic family and with galactic beings. That you need to face any fears that you have about them with eyes wide open. You need to face your reality, face what is going on, and accept that it's not a fantasy. It's not a horror movie. It's not something to run from or to be afraid of. It is something that is real. It's a part of your life and it can enhance your life greatly. So if you can face that and release that fear, that's going to allow you to connect with your ETs more strongly and with better memory so that you can really remember the encounters. So when I was pulling the oracle cards, I got one from the Mystic Martian and two jumped out from the Starseed oracle. So let's read the one first from the Mystic Martian deck. It is the Venusians, romance and soulmates, empathy. The Venusians are humanoid extraterrestrials that live on our Venus sister planet within our solar system. Venusians are descendants from the Lyra race. Venus is extremely hot and on third dimensional realms uninhabitable by human standards. However, Venus is teeming with exuberant light and highly evolved civilizations. Venus has sophisticated environmental technologies that protect its colonies. These beautiful people coexist in complete harmony. Venus has no wars, is completely egalitarian, and has neither money systems nor fraud. Similar to their distant cosmic cousins, the Pleiadians, the Venusians also have a tarnished history. Eons ago, before they collectively shifted their consciousness and frequencies, the Venusians' egos nearly wiped their entire bloodline out and almost totally destroyed their home planet, which forced them to wake up and ascend. Venusians reside in the higher astral realms of the fourth dimension, which somewhat parallels in appearance to the third, only more alive, luminous, and enlightened. Due to their activated consciousness, they are able to be fully present in their etheric light body form if they desire. They can also manifest into their 3D material body if they choose. They are very psychic and extremely empathic. They are masters of manifestation. A structured form of telepathy is used for communication within the Venusian community. While in their astral form, they do not eat actual food, but rather absorb energy as a form of sustenance and nutrition. Many Venusians visit, and some are contracted to live here on Earth. The harsh densities of Earth can make the initial 3D transition difficult for them. Valiant Thor was one well-known Venusian that worked at the Pentagon in the early 60s during the Eisenhower presidency. The Venusians are energetically and deeply connected with the heart vibrations of unconditional love and are participating in assisting the consciousness awakening. Excuse me. Take two. The Venusians are energetically and deeply connected with the heart vibrations of unconditional love and are participating in assisting the conscious awakenings of the Earthlings. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, so now we have two oracle cards here from the Starseed Oracle. I'm going to read the first one. It's called Loosen Your Grip, Coping Mechanisms, Density, Addiction, Let God In. We're cyclic beings, and Mother Earth teaches us how to be human every day with the coming and going of the tides and the seasons. If you're clinging to anything, you're resisting the natural flow of who you are. The things we cling to are so often those we most need to let go of. The food, the substances, the relationship, the job, the people-pleasing. The things we cling to often cover up our most vulnerable space, the part we're most afraid to leave empty, the part we guard and don't let grace into. But by keeping that space covered with something that doesn't serve us, or clinging to it for fear of it not staying of its own accord, we prevent ourselves from receiving the thing that will. A Course in Miracles tells us, whatever we leave empty, grace will fill. And the Buddha said, you can only lose what you cling to. Indeed, both are true. If this card appears, you're being called to find the courage to loosen your grip and give up control, to release your coping mechanisms and leave space for grace and God to enter, to surrender all that feels dense to the divine. Loosening your grip doesn't mean that what you're clinging to will go away. It may, or it might stay too, but you can be sure that what is for you will find you. And you'll breathe easier knowing that you've shifted from relying on your own strength to surrendering to the grace of life. Okay, and the second one is the Cosmic Heart, devotion, potency, making your life a moving prayer. When you surrender to a state of devotion, you find yourself flowing with all of life. You're being called to refocus your attention deep within, to the intelligence of your own heart, to bow with deep reverence to your inner temple, to live your life in devotion to this place, to make your life one big moving prayer. Perhaps you've felt a bit off kilter lately, sensing that the potency of what you're doing. Take two. Perhaps you've felt a bit off kilter lately, sensing that the potency of why you're doing things has gotten a little watered down or weak. Perhaps you've forgotten what made you start doing them in the first place. If so, this is your call to take a moment and reconnect with the truth at the very center of your heart, to get back to the essence of what you're about, to devote your life to what you care most about, to turn your gaze deep, 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 deep. There are seasons for harvesting and seasons for sowing. Right now, you're being called to plant your soul's seeds and sing to them with deep devotion, to feed them with the sweet waters of your own soul, to lose yourself in the potency of what it is that most expands your heart, to live your life according to what makes you come alive rather than what everyone else thinks, to make your life one big moving prayer. Wow. Okay. So I think both of those go along pretty well with the cards that went before them. And so that's the reading for the blue celestite. And I thank you for watching. Hey everybody, I'm coming on to say how very, very grateful I am to all of you for your marvelous support in 2022, 2021, half of 2020, because I started in July of 2020 during COVID. Thank you for commenting, subscribing. Thank you for sending in questions. I'm so grateful. And I just hope that we can all keep going. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.